This is the video that's going to walk you through how to do the lab on the Introduction to Gravity. And the very first thing that you need to do is you need to take a flip video camera and a tennis ball. And you'll videotape someone tossing that tennis ball straight up in the air and then have it come back down. You need to make sure there's a meter stick in the screen and that it shows up the entire time, that you don't move the camera, that the camera is upright, not sideways. Some of the things to make a good video. It doesn't have to be very long. The ball doesn't have to go to the top of the meter stick. It just has to go up and come back down. So once you've made a good video, then you're going to find the video on your computer. So you'll attach the flip video to the computer. And however you find it, when you open it up, you're going to look for the folder called DCIM. Open that, and then you'll look for a folder called 100 Video. And then find your video. And in this case, I'm just going to drag the video to the desktop because that's the video I want to use. And then you are done with that. So then you can eject your flip video camera if you want, once you have it on the desktop. So now you're going to open up Logger Pro. Logger Pro, remember, is the program that looks like it has graph paper. So here's what it looks like when you open it. And if you go up to Insert and Movie, and then you want to go find your movie. So my movie's on the desktop. It's just this video here. And so here is the video, and if I want to play it, I can play it. Okay, and so that's really all you need. Now we're going to analyze it. And to analyze it, we're going to start by clicking this button here with the red dots. And then what you want to do is you want to move. So I'm going to move the slider here back to the start, but actually what I want to find is the place here where the ball has just been released, because I don't need to do any more than I have to as far as analyzing the video. So it looks like there it's out of his hand. And so now I'm going to mark that. So to do that, I'm going to click this red dot button. And now I can put this on the tennis ball and follow it. And you want to take your time and do this. I'm kind of rushing here just so you can see what things look like. But basically you want to follow the center of the ball. And you can see that because this video is not capturing a lot of frames per second, the ball gets a little blurry. Looks like two tennis balls, but just if you keep it in the center, you should be okay. And then once it gets back in his hand, you can stop. The other thing that you need to do then is you need to tell it a scale. And so for that, you're going to use this horizontal meter stick. And it looks like we're a little bit out of the picture here, but you want to drag. This is why you want to make sure the meter stick is all the way in the picture. And then you're going to tell it that that's 1 meter. What that does is it changes. The program will read in pixels unless it tells you, or you tell it, how many pixels are a meter, essentially is what we're doing. So once you have done that, then you can click on the graphs over here. And you can see that we actually have 2 graphs that are being shown. In blue here, we have the Y position graph, and in the red, we have the X position graph. If you want to just look at one of them, you just have to click on these tabs. So I can just click X, and that's the only one I'm going to be shown. You should be aware that when it does this, it auto scales. And if you don't like the auto scale, because right now it's got a really small scale here, I can go and make this back to 0. I should be able to go make this back to 0. Or not. Okay, there we go. All right, so when you do that, you can change these. And I can change the top of the manual scale if I want to. I can make it go to 1.2 if I feel like that's going to show me those dots better. And so there's my X position. It's going to ask you to make sketches of these different graphs. So there's X position, there's Y position, there's X velocity. And again, if you don't see it on the screen, then we just need to change the scale. And so Scaling, we can do auto scale from 0 and see what happens there. Just to give you a sense, so it looks like we have negative x velocity, and so I can change this bottom scale again. This looks pretty tiny, so maybe I want to go to, I'm going to manual scale again here and maybe go to -1. And hit OK, and so now I get a better sense of what that graph looks like. Y velocity, again, you can do the same thing. I'm not seeing the full picture here, so I can click on this graph, just double click on the graph and make it do an auto scale. Auto scale larger, let's try that. And so now I get a much better picture of what's going on here. The only other piece that you're going to need is it's going to ask you to find the slope of these velocity graphs. And to do that, you're going to use this button up here that is called the linear fit button. And so you'll just drag across the points that you want to find the linear fit for, and you'll click that button and it will tell you the slope of that line. And that's all there is to doing this lab. Enjoy. As soon as I can find how to turn